What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of All Things Super. I am one of your
You
hosts,
can
Spider,
always cut it out,
and
but then
I
they want
am
the
joined
organic.
by Mr. VIP Frankie Washington. How are you doing today, sir?
I am infinitely awesome, sir. Thank you for asking. How are you doing?
I am doing fantastic. I am glad to be here for another day, talking about another episode of a very wonderful show. And if you're not initiated and you don't know exactly what you've clicked on, this is All Things Super,
Dun
where
dun
every
dun.
week we take a bit of super powered TV, movie, trailer, we watch it, we react to it, we break it down, and we answer the question, is it super? But if you like that, you can go ahead and subscribe to the channel, click on the bell so you can be notified. And if you want to join in on the
Ding.
conversation, you can
But not
tweet at
sound
us
effects.
at ATSuperPod. But this
Don't
week,
sound like
this week, we are talking about episode 2, newest show from HBO Max, Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon. But we're going to get into this because some shit is going down. But before we get into the breakdown of the show, we have
Didn't
to
you
let
make the people wait long enough?
No, we didn't make them wait long enough.
No. I can do this. I have high hopes. I can do this. I can talk about Game of Thrones episode 2, House of the Dragons without spoiling it.
Okay.
For those who haven't seen it.
Mr. VIP Frankie Washington, you have the floor.
What's that? What's that you say?
You have the floor.
They didn't have no dragons in this one. That might have spoiled it for somebody. They might be looking for dragons, and I told them that, you know what? I can't do it. I tried. Because if they go in there, they was like, I wanted to see dragons. Mr. VIP Frankie Washington spoiled it for me, and he told me they ain't got no dragons in the episode. Now I don't even want to watch it. Bump that. So I had to put the spoiler warning out there.
Spoiler warning. We got the spoiler warning out of the way. There we go.
Yeah, there it is.
What are you talking about? They absolutely had dragons in this episode.
Who spoiled it now?
We already gave them the spoiler warning.
Well, yeah, you're right. After you heard the warning and you kept listening, that's all on you at this point.
Territory.
It's House of Dragons. Of course, there's dragons in the show. The first thing they showed you in episode 1, it was a dragon. And guess what? They're back again. And I enjoy them. I like to see them. But there was a lot going on into this second episode. And we are back in Thrones territory because if you was a fan of the first one, you kind of had to love the manipulation and kind of behind the scenes and backstabbing and things. And now we had to get the initial hook and to remind you guys this is Thrones, but now we get into the seedy underbelly of exactly seeing the positions of whose long-term plans is kind of coming into play because we didn't pick up right after. We picked up 6 months later after the queen has died and the baby has died. And, we still see the king and he's mourning the loss as well as his daughters mourning the loss of their family. And they're kind of estranged because they haven't really talked to each other since that night that we told you you're going to be queen, or at least the heir to the throne.
Right.
They've been kind of doing their own thing. So they had dinner and they started talking with each other and they started, really trying to process these emotions because he is expected to get remarried. And the people in the realm are like, yeah, we know she died, but what's up, bro? We looking weak out here in these streets because, there's a dude that's capturing folk and feeding them to crabs.
Crab feeder.
They showed us these flesh-eating crabs. Like, I'm thinking about this, okay? Unless you really kind of how deep are we into this? Unless you really kind of mess me up,
Mm-hmm.
kicking every crab that comes my way. I might even bite a couple of them to survive. I'm not just gonna let these crabs eat me. That's just that's just the fight in me. I'm just saying. But
I
if I'm
mean,
drug, if I got some of that Doctor Strange tea and I'm drugged out, I might wake up and still. They,
I
they
think
may
that
wake me
they
up by
had to
some
be
lightning.
incapacitated in some kind of way. They were still alive, but I think he was nailing their hands to the wood.
Yeah, I saw that. Don't drink the tea, kid.
Because once you're out, you don't know what the situation gonna be when you wake up.
Why my booty juicy? Don't wake up in that situation. That's not a situation you want to wake up in. You got to ask yourself that question. That's not. That's not something that you want to. You wake up and it's like, what? Nah, y'all play too much. Why is it wet? What's going on? Like somebody got to answer what happened last night. Don't drink the tea. don't you do it. Spiders.
I have no words. No words. Absolutely zero.
Hit them with the dragons. That's what it is.
Now you sound like Cisco.
That's right. But you got a lot going on with the situation of they're now talking and they're having a conversation of he has to remarry and of course the possibility of another heir. And you had that conversation with, and forgive me, I'm still learning names. You had the conversation with the new heir, the princess, with the
Rhaenyra.
queen that never was, saying that don't fall in love with this idea thinking that you're going to be queen.
Right.
The king has to remarry, and her knowing, and I'm wondering if they had already had concocted their plan of offering their daughter, even when they had that conversation about, he's going to have another son or at least attempt to it, and you're going to be dethroned because they'll rather see the walls come down in fire. She used the term burn it down, than see a woman on the Iron Throne. So, wow, that's happening.
But
And like I said,
I like what Rhaenyra said because, and not to cut you off, it just shows and how we kind of talked about in episode 1 how Rhaenyra is smarter than what people give her credit for, and they showcase that a lot in this episode. But one thing that she said to Rhaenys is her name, the queen that never was, Rhaenys. What she said to Rhaenys was, Rhaenys said that they would not allow the woman to be on the throne. And Rhaenyra said
right?
they would not let you be on the throne. Just like
I
I'm
was
not
waiting for those dudes
you.
to be like, whoa!
Like I'm not you.
Cut that in.
Right. They're saying we may be family, but I'm cut from a different cloth. I'm different. I'm built different. Like you I'm not gonna do what you did. And I appreciate, and it's like,
does that make an enemy?
Something. I think it does. I think that there is an actual conspiracy. Well, not so much a conspiracy, but I do feel like Corlys and Rhaenys are plotting because everybody wants power. Everybody wants to have some type of claim to the throne, and Rhaenys is so bitter that she got passed up. I don't think she ever had.
She would offer up her own child who is underage,
12 years old,
to a man twice her age.
Well, probably more than
maybe,
twice.
Maybe even three times her age.
Maybe 3 times.
Now I know in some countries that's probably even acceptable,
like 5 times her age,
because they don't have the standards that America has. But no matter what country it's in, it's too young. It's way too young. It's way too young. And we tangled with that idea everyone was telling the king, yo, this is the best decision.
Right. This is the
This is how
smart
you
play.
save the realm. This is how you show strength. This
Right.
is how you dominate. You bring these two houses together. Everybody gonna bend the knee because they already know we got you from the water, we got you from the north, we got the stronghold. Get this done, my guy. Get this done. This is what we're doing. Everyone is telling them that, and he decides to go. I'm quick to go left
Right.
and says, "Nah, son, she's too young. Y'all on some wild stuff."
I'm gonna follow my heart. I'm not gonna mess with the 12-year-old. I'm gonna go up to the 15-year-old.
Standards, right? The lesser of two evils. Come on, dude. But again, you can get away with these storytelling because the time frame
Right.
was
This is not
exactly
modern
in that
day
time frame.
practices.
That's that's why they're able to tell this story the way that they're able to tell it. And if you don't pay attention to that, then you're gonna miss out because you won't get away with that kind of stuff without some legal ramifications. The
Right.
law, like in a traditional sense that we know it, did not exist then. So these things were not frowned upon. It was just something that sat in the pit of your stomach because
Mhm.
you know it's not right, and somewhere on the line he kind of knows it's not right. So he decides to go in a different direction. But oh, the results of being the lesser of two evils quickly bites him in the ass, as you can see. What's the husband name? The queen that's the never it was?
Uh,
Clarice?
Lord Corliss.
Corliss immediately went to the king's brother. And then the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Right.
But I think we're having this conversation. Is he really the enemy though? Because he loved his brother. Clearly, he does to try to get all the attention from his brother
Right.
by stealing the dragon's egg for a baby that wasn't even conceived with someone you were threatening to marry. You were clearly using her as a pawn, which
Hmm.
she caught wind of, and she turned around and left because she was like, "I'm sick of this. You're playing,
Right.
and I'm
Listening to
gonna be the one
everything.
that catch smoke for this
Exactly. He's like
because
he's
you're a
not gonna
prince.
come
They're
after
not
you.
gonna do you nothing."
Exactly.
Exactly. So he's clearly doing it for attention because when Daenerys, no, don't say Daenerys. No,
Which
I
one?
say
The
the
king?
princess. I'm learning names. I'm learning names. Don't do that. I'm learning names. Princess. So she comes and she
Rhaenyra.
says, if you Rhaenyra, she says, if you want your title
Rhaenyra.
back to
Sorry,
the
Rhaenyra.
throne, well, I would have said it wrong either way. You know how I do.
Cause you know they're gonna
So
come for us in
Rhaenyra
the
shows up,
comments. Like you watch the show, why you don't know their names?
come at me, bro. It's New Orleans Acme. Come at me, bro. So here's the thing. She shows up like a boss on a dragon. The one that said wasn't there. So she shows up like a boss, and she's like, "If you want your shot at the throne,
Kill me.
here I go right here. Let's just be done with this." And you're seeing how she's such a boss woman, queen, princess, who you want to call her, whatever you want to call her, she's not scared of conflict. She says already earlier she'd rather be a warrior than the lady of the house or whatever term she used. And we got a mix of Arya and Daenerys and one character. That's the different spin because she's not afraid of letting her thoughts be known. And you're not just going to kind of like if she knew about the plot of what they're doing, how the hand of the king offered his daughter in a more cryptic way,
Right.
she'll shut all of that down. And I think she's not above having all of them killed. Like she just had to say, Father, it was all a ruse, it was manipulation, it was planned. He sent her to you to get close to you, to pull on your heartstrings. But
Hmm.
at the same time, the king's in a position that I need an heir. And I don't think he's comfortable with unloading the weight of the kingdom on his daughter because as you can see, it's taking a toll on him and he's not in the best shape
Oh.
as is. That cut is infected. And that sore on the leg or wherever the first episode boil was,
on his back.
we know it got cauterized, but is it still infected? Because cauterizing kind of seals
Don't
it
clear up the
in.
infection, right?
It just makes it not able to breathe. So we're not looking good. So we want to make sure that the king's going to be okay. I had a conversation with somebody as a fellow Thrones fan, and they asked me, you know, what's that all about? And conversation, I won't get too much into it. Yes, even on the show, I won't say what it was. That the king's trying to be a good king,
Mm.
and in that time, I actually quoted Black Panther on this when he said T'Challa was a good king, a good man, and it was hard for a good man to be a good king
Right.
because sometimes you have to make those decisions that will take you to war or that may have someone killed, and you're thinking the best way possible to do it or to avoid that whatsoever sends a signal in the water that either you're too lenient or you're too strict, and it's a fine line to cross on the matters that happen that you have to make a decision on. So he's trying to keep it at a time of peace instead of war, and they showed that in episode 1 because the soldiers had not gone out to fight. They were full of rage and testosterone. They didn't know how to release it, and they started murdering themselves in
Right.
the games. The games wasn't supposed to be murder. It turned out to all out murder fest, like the Purge, but for knights. And it was gruesome to see. But you got all this plotting and manipulation. Oh, like I was saying, if she was to find out about that, I think she would have him killed. Seriously, she's coming to her own. She's standing on her own. She's not afraid to say her mind.
Right.
And yes, I said say her mind, not speak her mind. It's okay. It's a different word. It's just not you're not used to it. It's okay. So who's going to challenge her? She really doesn't have a challenger at this point because clearly her uncle kind of backed off. He's not going to kill his niece. He has love for her. You saw that already, episode 1. And she brought it to, everyone's attention that you were just doing this for attention.
Right.
What's going on, Spider? I see the gears turning in the mind. You feel like you're on the edge of you.
No, I'm just listening to what you're saying. I mean, because I agree with everything you're saying. It's just it's not only Rhaenyra's her perception of everything that's going on, is she's smart enough to know that Daemon is doing it all for attention. Called him out on his bullshit. Like, look, you stole an egg. You there's no reason for you. Like, oh, you're about to have a baby. And he looks back at the woman. He's like, one day, and it's like she's like, I know. She's like, and it's like she knows she's not pregnant. So why? And she's like, just give the egg back. Either that, or if you really want to go through with this, just kill me now. You'll be the heir, and it'll be your time on the throne. And she knew that because she was in there when they were having a whole conversation about who to send, to go confront Daemon. And Otto wanted to go because Otto wanted to humiliate Daemon because he takes delight. We saw at episode 1, Viserys told Daemon, he was like, Otto loves to, he told Otto, Daemon loves to get a rise out of you. He likes messing with you. And so they have this whole back and forth thing going on where Otto wants to humiliate Daemon. But Dragon came out, Otto's like, oh shit, he about to burn us all alive. And so
Big flex.
He
Big flex.
really had no leg.
Y'all don't have one of these? Right. Y'all don't have one of these dragons?
So had Rhaenyra not showed up, they would all been wiped out, And even when Rhaenyra got back and, the knights, the guards announced and told Viserys, the princess had returned from Dragon's Keep. And he was like, what? He confronted her. He started yelling at her, but she's like, I retrieved the egg without bloodshed. And like his whole demeanor, just like, you know what, you're right. It's like he there's nothing else for him to say about that. Literally nothing for him to say about that, because she was diplomatic. She was able to resolve the issue. No fighting, no violence. Nobody died. Nobody even got injured. Nobody even got touched with a sword. And she was able to do all of that. And it's like, how can you not recognize that ability in, the heir to the throne? It's like, yes, like you said, the good king never wants for war, but they must be prepared for it. And the thing about it is, Corlys told them that.
Who said that?
I don't remember who said
That
that.
sound like that sound like did
I think Odin did say that. Yeah, I think Odin did say that. Because
maybe T'Chaka said it.
I think Odin said it when Thor wanted to like bring the fight to the Frost Giants in the first storm. But I could be wrong. But even Corlys told Viserys, he said that when it comes to a ship approaching a storm, he said you can do either two things. You can sail through it or you can sail around it. But you can't just sit back and wait for it to come to you. Because
because bars dropping my.
You just need to have an audience in the back of every conversation to be like, oh,
right. I'm trying to give you $1 million worth of game for $9.99. I'm just trying to say that Jay-Z line all the time.
But you can see the different strategies, the different approaches, because you have Otto the Hand. As soon as Emma died, he sent Alicent. He was like, go be with him.
Get your mama dressed.
Get dressed like your mother. Use the emotion that you felt when your mom died, and you can relate to that to him. It's like right off the bat, he was already.
You thought Thanos was a bad father. you thought Tyrion Lannister had a bad father. Man,
but that's like right off the back. It's almost as if he was waiting for that moment, almost as if he knew that something like this was going to happen, but he already had it preloaded. And now you have Corlys on the backside. He's sort of on a defensive because now Crab Feeder is out here. He's in the what they call it, the shelf or the whatever the islands or whatever, where he's like messing up all the shipping lanes and everything. He's like, if he destroys my fleet, I'm done. It's like, this is all I have. So we need to bring this fight to him. Viserys doesn't want to fight. And so he's like, okay, well, if you're not going to fight, then you need to think about, your image. You need to think about, you need to remarry. How about you marry my daughter? We combine our houses. We show our strength. We show our force. Because as of right now, what do the free islands or whatever they were called, what do they have to be afraid of? Why would they fear us? We are not doing anything. We're holding tourneys and balls. There's nothing else going on right now. Marry my daughter, combine the houses, we'll be a force to be reckoned with, we'll be a powerhouse, everybody will respect us. And it's like, so now he's trying to play catch up. Otto is already he's in the game. He's like, I'm already 2 steps ahead of you. And now you're trying to play catch up. I
already sent my kid like when she 6 months ago.
Right.
And already sent mine.
And we see how much of an impact that had, because even Viserys told Rhaenyra, he's like, I don't know anything about her. Like, besides the fact that she's 12. It's like, I don't know her. I have nothing to relate to her. It's like, but Alicent.
I don't want to relate to a 12-year-old.
You shouldn't.
You got something in common with a 12-year-old and you're not their parent? Like, sometimes even if you're their parent, like, we can play tea house, but
right.
Daddy going to bed. Like, I got to go to work in the morning.
But you
don't relate. I got it.
You see all of the basically like the backdoor dealings and all of the goings on and all of the everything that's I keep coming back to this conspiracies, but it's really just manipulation. Everybody is waiting because they know at some point he's gonna die. But how high of a stature can I get before he dies? Because who knows what's gonna happen, especially with Rhaenyra on the throne. Because if she's on the throne, we don't have a shot. First of all, we don't. we as men, we don't respect a woman on the throne. So that's what we want to avoid first of all.
Yes, sir.
Which is another
Yes,
reason that
sir.
they're probably, like you said, they're trying to get him to remarry so he can have an heir, potentially have another boy. The boy survives. He's now the heir, which he shouldn't be because Rhaenyra is his firstborn. So by all rights, she should be
The
the rightful
bylaws say, boy,
heir.
that's what the bylaws say.
Right.
But we let this girl sit on the board because, that's his first board. But that's just a temporary hold. That's all that is. We gonna get somebody
Pretty
and get a
much.
boy in there. Get a boy in there. Gotta have a boy.
And so we see.
You realize how dumb it sounds, right?
Absolutely.
Just saying, a queen
Insane.
can do a job like a man can, but back in those days,
right? No, they couldn't. They
the
it's not that
1900s,
they weren't allowed to. The 1300s,
the 2000s, 2020. Wait,
2000
what?
BC.
I feel like we're doing time travel stuff.
Right. No, but
Rick and Morty.
But we see that even Alicent, where we saw in the first episode, we thought that this is Rhaenyra's friend. This is somebody who cares about her. This is somebody who wants the best for her. But
Lies.
we see that she's even manipulating Rhaenyra she's like, when my mom died and my dad didn't want to talk to me about it, I had to go to him. So she's like pushing her to go talk to Viserys. It's like the only way he's going to be comfortable with taking on another wife. Your father's going to take another wife, whether you like it or not. But you all should at least talk about it.
He has a responsibility to the realm. He has to take another wife.
Right. So she was basically telling her, she's like, you two should at least talk about it, so you can at least come to like some type of, acknowledgement. It's like, yes, I understand you got to do what you got to do, but you should at least have a conversation about it. She's pushing her to like, look, go talk to your dad. He's like, sometimes you can't wait for him to come to you.
Is that ever so bad though? If you tell your kid, go talk to your dad.
It's not bad, but we see that the intentions for her for doing that weren't the purest of intentions. It wasn't just her trying to help a friend get over the loss of her mother. It wasn't just her trying to help her friend's dad get over the loss of his wife. It was her trying to be able to allow him to ease his mind because maybe he had some type of reservations about doing it because he didn't know how Rhaenyra was going to feel about it. And so once they had that conversation and Rhaenyra was like, you got to do what's right for the realm. You have to remarry. It's basically, you got to do what you got to do.
But I don't think she thought it was going to be her because when she
absolutely
found out
did not.
it was,
she
stormed off.
Yeah.
Because I'm not sure if they're going to say that there's a relationship there. They have not kind of dove into that. They're just kind of keeping it as they might be best friends, or then they may be best friends.
Right.
And it's cool either way if it is. I mean, when you're exploring and and again at this time to make it seem like it didn't exist wouldn't be an accurate depiction of time.
Right.
So,
but it would be so much.
I could see the hurt
amplified
when she found out. Yes, that's what I'm basically trying to say.
If they were together, or not even together, but if they were romantically linked rather than just having a friendship, that could be like stabbed to the heart and stabbed in the back.
Piercing, both directions. They usually charge extra for that. It's both directions. No, I'm saying if you go from this side to this side, like they that's what I heard. Somebody told me that back in those days in 2020s. So I can understand the pain that she's going through. Now my friend is marrying my father. I mean, some people know that story. Right. Well, this should be a podcast we call in so we can get to the other side of that tea, because it's like, yeah, I was with her. We was cool in high school, but her daddy said he liked me. So now I'm her mama. I'm her stepmama. She got to live with it. I mean, I got to live with it. So, her daddy crazy. Wow. So that happened back then. And that's crazy that, the story is gone now because the betrayal is right around the corner. I mean, if you don't feel it now, you're going to feel it later on when these secrets become revealed and people
Right.
find out what their true intentions were once they got what they got. Listen, this is Thrones. And if you watch the other one, you'll love this one. And if you're watching this one, this is Thrones. They do this type of stuff, and we're here for it. So, Spider,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to ask you this question I was thinking about in my mind while watching this episode of Game of Thrones, House of Dragon on HBO and HBO Max. Is it super?
Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon on HBO and
Game of
HBO
Thrones,
Max, as you said.
House of Dragon.
Yeah,
That's the
it's
very
super.
same one.
Yeah,
Oh,
this like I said when we talked about it last week. I said that I feel like this is the first episode. I'm jumping into it. I don't know anything about any of these characters. I don't know much about the lore. I had a little synopsis of a YouTube video that was brought to me. So I said it was approaching super. So I wanted to make sure that I got a little bit more of the information, see exactly where the story was going. Episode 2,
approaching,
we are
approaching super.
expounding on what happened in episode 1. We're seeing the ramifications of that choice that Viserys made of making Rhaenyra the heir to the throne. And so now we're seeing the
Yeah, to
fallout
the
for it.
throne.
And to see the direction that this story is going, yes, this is super. I am locked in. I want to see where this story is going. I don't know exactly how much time is going to jump between episode 2 and episode 3. I don't know if they're going to be time jumps with each episode. Because I was not expecting a 6-month time jump between episode 1 and 2.
Nor was I. Way to keep your audience on the toes,
Right.
right?
But that didn't take anything away. I don't want any of the other viewers or any of the listeners to think that I'm discounting the episode in any way because of the time jump. I'm not taking anything away from the show. Episode 2, I felt like even though there was a 6-month time jump, I still feel like we picked up right where we left off. I don't feel like we missed anything other than some relationships. Right, plotting and scheming. Some relationships progressed. Some things had changed and people were in different areas than what they were before. But other than that, I think the story still kept its same pace. We got just enough information from just enough people to know exactly what their intentions may be. But then, say, for Daemon, we know what Daemon was trying to do. But now, as his girlfriend, fiance, he said they were to wed. I don't know if they went through with the wedding, but Massaria, she
He's
spoke
already
up.
married.
No, he said, I am to wed. He was saying that he was going to get married.
I think he has a wife that's somewhere else.
Well, no, he's married,
Bronze.
but he was going to take Massaria as his next wife.
I don't think he knows how marriages work. You got to divorce the first one.
I don't think they had to back then. I think they could have multiple wives back then. But I'm saying, you know more about Game of Thrones than I do, so I don't know if anybody else had multiple wives.
What religion is he? What religion is Daemon?
Valerian? I don't know. I don't know what. I don't know what religion they are. I don't know if they practice religion.
What religion Damon is, leave it in the comments below. If he can have multiple wives if he's in a certain religion, I'm pretty sure of that.
He said in episode 1, he ain't love that woman. He don't want that wife.
Is it because she was bronze? It's because she was bronze? Is that what? Because he said bronze. Is Damon a racist? Is that what's going on? Are we looking at a dragon riding racist?
I don't know.
They said she was bronze.
Yeah, I don't know.
There's not many.
I'm just saying. I don't know. It's possible.
Hey, because they haven't really defined him as a villain as of yet. The only thing that he's really done is clean up the city and antagonize his brother.
Very violent means.
Got the job done.
But so, Mr. VIP Frankie Washington, episode 2,
me,
Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon. Is it super?
It is. Listen. If you're not watching this show, I don't know what you're doing with your weekends because it's going to be the number one barbecuing. Look, take the barbecue inside, watch Game of Thrones. It's going to be one of those shows that you're going to hear about later on, and you're going to say, "I never got into that, man. I can't get into all those dragons. I don't do that dragon stuff, man. There's too many dragons. I don't like to spell dragons without dragons, and they got dragons in there." Yes, there's dragons. The point of what I'm saying is you're gonna miss out on all the conversations that's gonna come from this. And then unless you just want to go back and binge watch all the way from the beginning to whatever season they're on, this is HBO. No, they got one. I don't. What's it? I think they're at like a $30 million budget per episode on this. From what I read, they spend like 30 million per episode, which is crazy for a television show budget. That's some movies don't get that, but you got it up, you pulled it up.
Looking for.
Okay, so I'm gonna do this while Spider's doing a quick information thing, and I want you to pay attention to it because that's it. But if they're spending that amount of money per episode,
little under 20 million
20
episode.
Only 20?
Yeah.
I was off by 10.
Off by 10.
And then if you take those 10s and add them together, 10 on top of 10, like for every episode that I miss, just send that to me and Spider, and we'll take care of the rest of just the 10 I missed. Just go ahead and add those per episode and then send us those 10 and watch what we do to it. Because this show is super. What are you talking about? You knew I was going to say that. You were just waiting for me to get there. I told you guys I'm long-winded. Understand if you're not watching this, you're missing out. And unless you're going back and binge watch it later on, which is still, if it's your thing, it's your thing. But you're missing out on the conversations of, did you see that? Can you believe that's happening? Because that's the type of espionage stuff going on in the 1900s. I mean, the 2000s. Back when Cash Money was taking over for the 99, 2000. What? The point of what I'm saying is you need to be watching this show. So when people are talking about it, you're not that guy standing there awkwardly. I don't get into dragons. I don't get into dragons and stuff because that's just your only. Is that your only comment? They're gonna look at you like you're crazy because it's so much more than dragons. There's thought that's going into it. It's just not. I'm gonna come up and slap you in the face type of situation. This is like, I got you, and I'm going to slowly plot my revenge towards you, and to watch it pay off in the end is fulfilling. And we're seeing who all the players are and getting their motivations on why they're going to get you, and we're curious about how they're going to get got. And the show is the tone of the show shows you. And if anybody knows Thrones, it's kind of like Squid Games in a sense, because no character is safe. That's one of the things that define Thrones. Your favorite character could be gone next week, and they'll just bring somebody else in because that's how the story goes. And we're all about story here at All Things Super. So is it super? Goddamn right it is. You need to go and watch it. Why are you still here? Yeah, I know why you're here, because you didn't hit that like button and the subscribe one that's over there. So once you do those things, you're more than free to roam about the country.
The whole country. Oh man. But yeah, I agree. But let us know what you think. We want to hear your thoughts. What do you think about episode 2, specifically episode 2 of Game of Thrones House of Dragon? Leave us a comment. Let us know your thoughts about the show. Let us know what you feel. Where do you think this story is going to go? What do you think is going to happen? We already saw the preview of what's going to happen next episode, but what do you think is going to be the fallout of this? We saw Rhaenyra is upset that her father chose Alicent.
I'm upset.
But what do you think?
That's all you can say. You can't get sued. That's it.
Give him 3 seconds and
it's not even 3. We good.
But let us know in the comments below your thoughts and your theories about where our next episode is going to take us. But again, if you like the video, go ahead, hit the like button, but don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell so you can be notified when we have new episodes come up. If you want the audio version of the podcast, you can find us on all of your major podcast streaming services. And if you want to join in on the conversation, you can tweet at us at ATSuperPod.
Man, that's whew. Y'all see why Spider get paid the big bucks? Because goddamn, man, I can't say all that shit. I'm dealing with something right now. So one day,
One day, we're gonna have that Mr. VIP
yeah,
Frankie Washington only episode.
that's gonna be when I have dragons, and I got dragons with the dragons. They're all about dragons. They got dragons in the. So much more going on than dragons, dude. Like you're kicking yourself in the butt for not watching it sooner. So if you thought about it, go ahead and watch it. Watch the first 2 episodes. We're only on episode 2. Now is the time to jump in so you can know what's going on throughout the story. So when you have these conversations, you'll be like, yo, I saw that. That was messed up. Yay! You're in. That's us cheering you on. Yay! He got it. He's in it. You're right. That's the crowd because you're accepted now into the Game of Thrones, House of Dragons conversation.
But until next time, thank you guys for joining us. We'll see you in the next episode.